Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earle Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earle Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earle Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
By Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Keras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. And by Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Family owned and operated for more than 40 years. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earle Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome into Lansky's, Clothier to the King. It's a lovely day, although a little bit warmer than we'd like. Fall starts Monday, but you couldn't prove it by us. Before we get started, I do want to mention that the Isley Brothers will be appearing at Live at the Garden this coming Saturday night. It's the last concert of the season. Still some tickets available. There is no opening act. It'll just be the Isley Brothers. And you know all the words, so that'll be a fun show. And Hook 'em Horns, we got a Texas fan just stepped in the show shop here.
That's Kiwi from New Zealand.
He's a New Zealand Texas fan.
My goodness.
Everybody comes to Lansky's when they come to Memphis. Also, there are tickets still available for the Isley Brothers, and the gates open at 5:30. My first guest today is George Gully with Jim Keras Chevrolet. Good afternoon, George.
Thank you, Earl. I might make it to the Isleys if I go to see the Rebels that afternoon. Get back by 8.
You could get back by 8.
Yeah,
and hopefully you'll be in a good mood.
Hey, I can remember them in the 70s, so they.
So do I.
There you go.
Well, they're supposed to put on a great show, and as I said, there's still tickets available. I stopped by earlier this week and got to go for a ride and actually got to drive your new car, which is a fully electric Equinox.
You know, I took a leap of faith and about 2 weeks ago decided to go electric, and then you came by the office, and so we took it for a spin.
You said, heck, let's let you drive it.
Yeah.
And it is. I was very impressed with it. The ride is incredible. I love the interior. It's a two-tone interior, white dashboard. I've never seen that before. The instrumentation, you've got a computer.
The electronics is great.
Yeah. And you've got a hologram for how close you're following somebody.
Sure.
Your speed is on there for you. And then you've got a full computer that stays up on your dashboard. And then your instrument panel it's a whole different screen. I was very impressed, and the acceleration, it was unbelievable.
Well, it's instant torque, and so the engine has no lag. You just take it up to the speed you want to drive at.
And it has no transmission.
That's right.
That
no
is so weird to me.
No oil changes, no gasoline.
No. And so, in fact, you said that the reason you bought it because there's $7,500.
Well, here's what we're dealing with right now.
Okay.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. We've got a $7,500 tax credit that, quote, is due to end and will last into October. And so I jumped on the bandwagon when the price was right. And would invite people that are interested in those types of things maybe to give me a call over the next week to 10 days to talk about it.
Well, I think definitely take a drive, because if you've never driven an electric car, you should do it just so you'll know what they're like. I was very impressed with it. You've also got yours is the Equinox, the Forester. Tell us about that.
Well, I work for Jim Keras Automotive, which I'm a Chevrolet manager, but we've got Nissan, Subaru, Buick, GMC, so we've got a whole gamut of products. And you just mentioned what I really would consider for some of my friends that do a lot of driving, the hybrid. And the hybrid Forester, Subaru builds all-wheel drive vehicles. They build very reliable vehicles and well known for them. And this hybrid will allow you to obtain somewhere in the high 30s, both in town and out of town. So you're going to run electric for the first 100 miles or so. Then it's going to kick in gas, and it recharges itself. One thing
while you're driving.
Absolutely. And so, unbeknownst to you, I do have to charge my car up. It doesn't just run perpetually.
And see, to me, that makes a whole lot of sense, the hybrid. And I've known Bill Morgan, a friend of mine, had a Lexus hybrid, and he loved it. His wife wrecked it, of course. But
you know, the past 4 years of politics was moving in the direction of electric, and now we're rethinking the wheel and saying maybe the hybrid is the way to go.
I like it.
I believe it is.
In fact, he was getting something like 90 miles to the tank of gas because, as you said, it kicks in and runs electric, then it goes back to gas. And we had, when I was at Fox 13, we had a number of hybrid cars there, and I really liked those.
Your production team was talking about they need something reliable and with good gas mileage, and I would tell them to think about this type of vehicle.
Then you have the Leaf. What's the Leaf?
Well, we've got one that just came in the beginning of the week. The Leaf has been reintroduced in the electric version by Nissan, and it's lower priced. You're talking about in the 20s. So here again, we're getting down to, money is important to all of us. And we've got these things, you and I just discussed the Hummer, where we've got these big tanks out there at $100,000, and then the Leaf in the 20s. So we've got a whole gamut of products based on your budget.
Now, did we show his car yet?
We got one slide.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. This this is the Equinox. The design, I love.
It's a good-looking car, and
really
it's sleek-looking, and I get a lot of compliments on it.
In the size, that's like a mid-size SUV.
That's right. My kids are out of school, so I don't need the big Tahoes or things like that.
And you told me this several years ago, like the Malibu, they're going to discontinue the Malibu. They're not selling sedans, and nobody's going to be in a few years. They found that the closed-in SUV even outsells, in many cases, pickup trucks because, the stuff at the back ain't covered.
That's right.
And
You're right.
It was very roomy in the back of this, and the seats.
Well, it's similar size to your Lexus.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is easy to park. It's easy to maneuver in traffic, and
that's right.
And the quietness. And I will say this: that you want to make sure you turn it off when you get out of the car, or does this automatically turn off?
It automatically turns on, and I press the button to turn it off. And if I forget, in 30 minutes, it'll turn itself.
I just remember you saying, "Do you want to drive this?" And I said, "Yeah." And so we walk up to it, and the door handles pop out as you get close to the car.
It scares me every time I get in it because it knows
it's
too
smarter
much.
Than we are.
It seems to be. It wouldn't be having any trouble being smarter than I.
Or me. And we'll dictate it. I do want to talk about something else. Your church. We also talked about this week, and I mentioned we were talking about right before we went on that the National Guard, a number of vehicles have been seen coming in on I-40 to Memphis today. Yesterday, I put up some video of a number of flatbed railroad cars coming in with equipment.
Yep,
they're coming. And I've also seen a lot of people say when they get here, restaurants are going to offer food and beverages because these guys are going to be encamped around the area. We don't know where yet, but they'll also be stationed, and it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week situation. You're going to have first responder. A big thing was already planned.
Well, it was, and I'm a member of St. John's Episcopal Church, which is in the central part of the city, on Central Avenue near the Memphis Country Club and the Memphis Pink Palace Museum, and we have wanted to reach out to our first responders in our area, the Tillman Police Precinct and the Fire Department Station, which is over there by Southern near Highland, that seems to have been there for well over 100 years. And some of the parishioners got together, and we're going to have that next Sunday. We're going to have a function for them. We're going to take them lunch. We're going to serve 2 shifts, super low chicken and potato salad. And, we just want to recognize what they've done for our community and what they're trying to do weekly, 24/7 for us.
Well, also the FBI, because there's a number of FBI agents have been here for a month or more.
I had run across a friend who was exercising with them. They touched on it. Governor Lee mentioned that, as did the president. I wasn't aware of it, but you even brought up some things that were going on to me. And we want those people to know that we're appreciative of what they're going to do for our community.
Well, and they are away from their families because
Of course they are.
They bowl, and in fact, you told me that your friend that works out with them said they have no idea how long they're going to be here.
No, it could be some period of time. I don't think you can cure what we've been knowing has been going on for many years in 2 or 3 weeks. It could be months or who knows how long.
Well, I just, although I know some government officials have said they don't need any outside help, you talk to anybody that lives in Memphis, and we're all saying, we use all the help we can get. I mean, we're down 500 police officers. We know that. Sheriff's Department's down with people. But that's one reason they brought in the FBI to start figuring out who they need to go pick up. Now they just pick them up, and then they just had a story came out today. The sheriff's office and the jail is overcrowding there already. They come in and start arresting people. And where are they going to put them? So that's another big question.
I don't know. And then, of course, Mississippi and Arkansas are discussing taking some of our overload, which I applaud that thought.
Well, I think you're going to see the community really turn out. A lot of people don't remember this. I was here. I just gotten here in 1979. When we had the fire strike, the police strike,
that's right,
the teacher strike, all at the same time. The Guard came in then. In fact, Rosanna Dana on the Saturday Night Live came here. I
forgot about her. That's great to even think back that long ago.
Yeah.
You and I both lived that.
Yes, we did live that. And I was at Channel 3 then, and we covered it. And I remember Billy Heinemann's lumber yard over on Lamar burned down. And I remember Paul Bubba Barnett, who used to be with the police department, was a reporter at Channel 3. They put him in a helicopter with a walkie-talkie, and he's going. We still laugh about that. He said, "We're flying over Billy Heinemann's lumber yard. It looks like Atlanta burning during the Civil War." We're looking at each other. Was Paul around for the Civil War? I think he was recalling Gone with the Wind.
I would tell your listeners, and you and I both have been here most of our adult lives, if you think of this axiom, insanity, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Yep.
And we can't continue this way, putting our citizens through, not hell, but yet it has been hell for many of them. And these people are going to come in here with the goal to change things.
Yep.
And that's all we can hope and pray they can do.
And that needs to change all over. It's not just Memphis.
No, it's the whole.
It's the whole country.
Many cities
This has been allowed to fester, and it's got to end.
I've got family in Jackson and in New Orleans, and they're suffering the same dilemma we're suffering.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with crime. And
absolutely.
Crime touches everybody and is very indiscriminate. So we need to get that taken care of. Call George. You'll be on Channel 3 Saturday morning.
I will.
Featuring some of the cars we talked about, hopefully. But give them a phone number.
You can reach me, folks. Thank you, Earle, for plugging me one last time. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Folks, I can be reached at Jim Keras Chevrolet. You can dial the main number or even dial my cell, 901-491-8343. And thank you for having me today.
You're certainly welcome, and we'll see you here very shortly.
Good.
Come by for another test drive. Heidi Kuhn is coming up next. She worked at the sheriff's office for Bill Oldham at the same time I was there. She was appointed, I was appointed, and we got to spend a lot of time there. I was very appreciative of Bill Oldham appointing me as chief public information officer. She came on as a special assistant to the sheriff because of her background, her experience. And that's one thing I liked about it. He never really looked at anybody's politics. He looked at what you've done and what your potential was for helping the sheriff's office. Mm-hmm. Heidi Kuhn, who's currently the Shelby County Criminal Court Clerk and has been doing a great job there.
Thank you. And also candidate for Shelby County Mayor.
Not leave that out.
Can't leave that out.
But, I talked to you at Bill's funeral, or actually his visitation. And we were chatting about that. I said, the thing about it is, I said, there's still so many people that really don't look at the party. They vote for somebody they like and they know will do a good job. And you're really popular with everybody. I've never run into anybody that sit there and say, "Is that Heidi Kuhn? Is she a mean one?"
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think Bill had that same view. I mean, he was open to the person and their abilities. And I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the first one to elevate an African-American female into a chief's position?
Well, and he was. I never saw him ever get mad. I mean, I saw him in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
He always remained very, very calm. I was in his car during the situation on the bridge, and we were down right by the bridge, and we were in constant contact. And in fact, the Shelby County Sheriff's big mobile headquarters was there.
Yeah.
Police department was using that because ours, the sheriff's office, was better than theirs. And I was there when the governor told the sheriff, said, get with the highway patrol and clear the bridge. And we were loading the buses up, and I said, here we go. I'm going. I mean, I'd only been on staff for about 2 weeks, and they were literally getting ready to go shove everybody off the bridge. And then the police department got them all, said, it's time to go. Actually, I heard one of the police officers on his walkie-talkie said, the cowboys are coming. Get off the bridge. But, and he was so fair to everybody, and he listened to everybody. Was the other thing I thought was great about it.
Absolutely. I think maybe it was that baby face that he had, that he was so warm and welcoming, but he also knew, what needed to be done and would really lead firm and fair. And I appreciated that about him.
And he was, a lot of people didn't know that he spent most of his first career with the police department. So he did everything. It wasn't like he was somebody that just ran for sheriff and all of a sudden he gets elected and then he's got to figure out how to be sheriff. He knew what he wanted to do as sheriff.
He had a long history of law enforcement, and that was evident too when we went to the visitation as well as the funeral, of how many different people were there. From different backgrounds, different ages, different ethnicities. I think that speaks highly of who he was.
Yeah, the former police director was there. I mean, it was like nobody forgot him. And even though he's been out of office for a number of years, I was amazed at the number of people that showed up. I heard one woman saying, well, this is the safest place in Memphis right now.
Right.
Everybody here has a gun. I said, well, I don't think anything's going to happen here. But it was very gratifying, I'm sure, to his family and his really close friends that the turnout was like it was, because we've all known people that you thought were really popular, and you go to their funeral and,
there's nobody there.
What's going on here?
Right. And I know how close he was to his family, too, because I think that after he was sheriff, people continued to ask him if he was going to run for something else.
Yeah.
And I think he was so ready to just be home and be with his kids and be with his grandkids. And that's really the role he wanted to play. He was done being sheriff.
Yeah.
He had done everything that he could in law enforcement, and it was his time to be grandpa.
And he wanted to be grandpa. I know his brother, who did a lot of things, he was with the fire department. But he also, any kind of barbecue, any kind of feeding thing, his brother was in charge of that. But his personality was so different from Bill's. I said, how come he's never run for office
Right.
before?
Because Bill hated running for office.
He
loved to be sheriff, and he loved to do that. But, running for office was not his forte. He hated that.
Campaigning was not
something he wanted to do, for sure.
He loved the work, as you said, but not the campaign and the politics of it. And, in fact, I remember he was going up against the county mayor. They wanted to not approve some of the things he wanted as far as expenditures. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, well, isn't the law that the sheriff, it tells the county what they need, and the county is required to provide that? He goes, yes. I said, then sue him. He goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I would.
Yeah, he was a collaborator. He liked to work well with individuals. So I appreciated that about him.
And we discussed this the other day. Bill Moore is the former sheriff and county chief, the mayor. And he said the thing he liked least about the politics of today is it's so divisive. He said it wasn't that way when I was the sheriff or when I was the mayor. I mean, the city mayor and the county mayor got along, the commission, the council, everybody was really working toward the same goal, making Memphis a better place. Is that kind of the message are you receiving you're out campaigning now? Is that what you're hearing from people about what they want?
I think that they want something different, leadership being different, and there's such a polarization and divisiveness between everyone, and I think there's so much hatred and so much anger, and everyone is so offended that we're not seeing that relationship and that collaboration, and I think that's what we need to get back to.
Well, and even just communicating. I mean, having been in the communication business for most of my life, that is still the biggest problem we have with everybody is communicating. And what did you mean by that? Well, I didn't mean what you think I meant.
Right.
And so I think better communications, but in order to do that, you have to talk to each other, and you have to be open and give your true thoughts on what things are. And I think that's the biggest problem we have with politics all over the place is who's really telling us the truth. And then a lot of the media, people don't believe the media anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it's very difficult. I think that there is a desire for just different leadership and to go back to the way it used to be. And unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. But that's certainly something I want to do, is just to bring the people back together for the betterment of Shelby County.
Well, I think that's what everybody wants. What I came downtown for was to say, I want to start talking about the good things about Memphis, because there are many, many outstanding things about Memphis and its people. And they're just not getting on the news unless they're involved in some kind of crime. And I think that's a crime.
And you had mentioned Mayor Bill Morris, who is one of my mentors. I mean, he was one of the biggest cheerleaders for Shelby County. And he didn't care who he had to work with or what he had to do. He was such a cheerleader for the county inside and outside and even internationally. And he just wanted Shelby County to be on the map for the better and for the good. And unfortunately, that script has flipped, and we are more well-known now for the negatives, and it outshines the positive, unfortunately.
And one of the positives was Memphis in May, and he was very instrumental in along with Dick Hackett and even Willie Harrington. That was something that they really got behind, and I hated to see that kind of come apart. I'm hoping that some of the new people in charge will revive that, because it wasn't just about a barbecue and a music fest. It was about bringing business.
It was community coming together.
Yeah, and community, getting people to come downtown again. When I first moved here, there was nobody. Peabody was closed. Lansky's was over there on Beale Street, but they, were still operating, but it wasn't until they moved to the Peabody after it reopened that they really surged again. And thank God for the Bells family and doing what they did with the Peabody and Peabody Place and so many other things about Memphis. They have been just a huge supporter and spark plug for what's happened in Memphis. And so, but I think all in all, I think everybody wants the same thing. Is that stop the crime. Let's get back on track and build Memphis and make things happen here for the betterment of all of us.
Exactly, because I'm tired of people going to the FedEx Forum for games or concerts, and what do afterwards? They just go home.
They leave.
We used to spill out onto Beale Street, and we used to have such a good time afterwards, and the retail and restaurants were flourishing, and now they're having devastating consequences because people are not staying here spending the money.
Well, make it safe, and they'll stay.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Heidi Kuhn, thanks for dropping by. Always good to see you, and good luck on your campaign.
I appreciate that, Earl. Take care.
Ron Olson is coming up next, and we're going to do kind of a role reversal. He's going to ask me questions since I never get interviewed. He's going to come in and take my place. I'm going to take the place of a guest, and we'll see what happens. So right now we're going to check out some of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earle Farrell Memphis today, and we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Keras Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25. And I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earle Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures Group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earle Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, my name is Jameson Todd, and I'm the director of Live at the Garden and the Radiance Amphitheater. And we're so excited for our 25th year of Live at the Garden here at the Memphis Botanic Garden. We've got a great lineup for you this season, so come on out.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wall, Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden and Live at the Garden. We've had Earle Farrell right along the way for the past 25 years, and we can't wait to talk more about the season this summer on the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
So come out to Live at the Garden. Our first show's on June 21st.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright.
And I'm his son, Mickey.
And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And proud sponsors of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
Hey, my name is Jake. I'm with Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of what I do here at Phoenix. I'm a sales engineer. A lot of the times we talk about home theaters, but there's so much more that we offer. We offer a lot of home security solutions, as well as water detection and everything. So if you guys ever need anything, give us a call. We'll get you guys fixed up.
We're ready. We're here. Hey, it's Ron. I'm taking over for the Earle Farrell show right now, and things are going to be different from this point on. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Things are just going to be different. First off, most of us are going to take our clothes off before the show's over. And so we're trying to get some new viewers, and I don't know if we'll scare them off.
No, that will not bring new viewers, Ron.
All right, it's my job to talk about the king of Lansky Brothers and the king of Memphis. His name is Earle Farrell. Earle, first off, welcome to the show. Glad you're here.
Well, it was a surprise to me. I didn't have any idea this was going to happen, but as I said before, I may be taking the fifth on a lot of these questions.
I know.
I didn't tell Ron what questions to ask me. I have no idea what he's going to ask.
But I'm curious about a couple of things. How did you get into radio and television? What was your? How did it all start for you?
It wasn't even a 50-watt radio station. I took a tour with some of my classmates when I was in high school of one of the radio stations in Odessa, Texas, where I grew up.
Right.
And so I'm asking questions of this disc jockey that was giving us the tour. And he goes, kid, you got a pretty good deep voice there, but you do kind of sound hicky. What do you mean, hicky? And so they had a thing they wanted to do. We have representatives from each of the high schools there. Come on once a week and just talk about who they're playing in football, that kind of stuff. So that was the first thing I ever really did on the radio. And then I got in college, and I had a roommate who worked for KTBC radio in Austin, which is owned by the Johnson family, Lyndon Baines and Lady Bird. He got to drive around in an SS 396 that was all painted up with KTBC on the sides. And women just, hey. And I'm going, well, I can't sing and I can't play an instrument, but I can talk.
Right.
So that's what I thought. I said, I'm going to go ahead and switch to broadcast major, and did that, and then got out and went back to my hometown and went to work for the CBS affiliate, just on the floor, running camera. In fact, I think that there's a picture there of me actually running camera.
Oh, boy.
On top of a truck on the Veterans Day parade. There I am.
Wow, that's not you.
That's me.
That's not you.
That is.
You're making this stuff up. That's not you. Is that really? Look at that. Wow,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
I think it was probably 21, 22 then.
Well, let's go through some more pictures. Can we see some more? What's next? I got to see about this. That's interesting.
This is after I got to Memphis.
Wow.
That's out in front of Sun Studios.
Look at that haircut.
Look at that hair.
That's amazing. I love that. All right, so let's see some more. These are really good. That's amazing. Sun Records has changed their look.
Yes, they have. Before, it was just basically a sign on the front of the building.
All right, now what are we looking at here?
That's in El Salvador. No, I'm sorry.
Honduras.
Okay.
I also went to El Salvador, wore the same outfit with the Air Guard from Memphis.
Really?
Yeah, and that is a place called Palmarola Air Force Base in Honduras, and it was just like Vietnam.
Right. That's amazing.
And we were going down there with medical teams to go treat the natives, the dental stuff, eye stuff, and flew all over the country on Huey helicopters. And all I had a little Velcro patch on the front of my camouflage uniform, and it said correspondent, in real little letters. And I'm going, and we had to land in this forest or this clearing, the jungle, because of critical humidity factor. And as we're going down, I could hear the pilot talk. I got a headset on. And he goes, okay, we've got critical humidity. We're going to have to emergency land. And my photographer doesn't have a headset on. And I'm tapping him on the shoulder because he's sitting back to back with me. And I'm going, we're getting ready to die. We're going to die. He's going, what? I'm shooting? He goes, no, you don't understand. And so we land, and the whole village comes running at us. And I asked one of the guys on board, I said, are they friendly or what? And he goes, we're getting ready to find out.
No kidding. Wow.
And I'm going, correspondent.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Actually, it was, but it was a great experience. It actually did shoot at us in El Salvador, flying over a volcano, and all these guys started taking their bulletproof vests off and sitting on them. And I'm going, what's going on? I said, well, we're taking fire.
Oh, smart move.
And I said, I don't have a vest. Can I sit in your lap?
That's amazing.
Nobody said okay. So.
And so now you're here in Memphis, but before you got here, let's talk about your love life for a couple seconds. Who was the very first girl you ever kissed in your life? You got to remember that, I'm sure, right?
The very first
I know there
girl.
was a bunch, but the first princess that got a kiss from the frog.
It really wasn't my first. I don't think I ever kissed my first girlfriend who was like in the
Never
70s.
kissed her? That didn't work out.
I didn't know how to approach that because, you see them in
just
class
go
and
like
everything.
this, turn your head, close
you
your
do,
eyes.
But I'm sitting there going, how do you talk about it first? Hey, what do you think maybe about kissing? And so I think it was.
You remember her name?
That was Sylvia.
Sylvia.
I went to Whackers and bought her this real cheap ruby ring, and she put on a little chain
to get the kiss. Then you thought that would work.
I was kind of thinking maybe it would head in that direction, but apparently.
So did you ever get a kiss?
Well, yes. I'm trying to recall. It was. I guess it would have been this girl I met at the library of all places.
Of course. This is getting weirder.
It's starting to sound like a lie, too, doesn't it? I met her at the library.
I was studying for finals at the library when I was in the 10th grade.
Actually, I thought, where do you find women in the afternoons? Women, girls.
Right, sure.
And I thought, well, it could be at the library.
But did you ever kiss her?
Yes.
Okay, at the library.
Not there.
Okay.
Actually, she went to the church right across the street.
Kissed her at church.
I did.
Okay.
And I wasn't even Baptist. I said, what do you say we go hang out at your church for a little bit? She goes, well, nobody's there. I said, that's what I'm talking about. And so that's where I actually got my first kiss at a Baptist church.
That's so funny.
With nobody there.
That's funny. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the city.
To sweat, man.
I know. We're gonna shift gears. I know it was making you nervous. I thought that's a question.
What a first question.
Here's a good question. I came up with 30 questions for you.
30.
And I've only got one. So what's one Memphis myth or assumption that you wish people outside the city would stop believing?
That Memphis is not a great place.
Okay.
And that's the whole reason we're doing this show here is because we want to talk about what's great about Memphis. And unfortunately, the only national recognition it gets here is the fact that it is a lot of negative. However, being here at Lansky's, we've had so many people from all over the world who've come in here in the 6 months we've been here. And all of them say they love Memphis. They can't wait to come back every year. We just saw a gentleman here that was from New Jersey. He and his son, and we asked him, he said, where are you from? He said, New Jersey. And he said, have you ever been here before? He said, oh, we come every year.
Yeah.
And he said, the first place we come is Lansky's. I always get Hal to fit me in some clothes, buy clothes. There's a gentleman here right now. Where are you from, sir? Poland? Scotland. Hutman, laddie, Hutman. And I don't even know what that means, but it sounds Scottish.
Yeah.
And they all love Memphis.
Sure.
Because there's crime is everywhere, and the whole nation needs to get a hold of that. But Memphis is a very unique city. It has all the things that make it totally unique, including this store. I mean, you won't see clothes.
No, there's nothing like this. I love coming in here. It's just amazing.
And the Peabody. I mean, there's not a more beautiful hotel in this country.
Yeah, and they've just remodeled all the rooms, too.
Well, they're still in the process of $25 million renovation.
It's pretty big. It's amazing. And
that's a misconception. I think that we're doing everything you can to change that.
All right, what's the biggest surprise of your career? Something you didn't see coming when you started out? What's the biggest surprise of all the things and places you've been?
Just the number of people that I've gotten to interview.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the famous people. Just the really. That's what I love about Memphis is the people are so unique and individual and the thing I really love about it is that if they like you, they like you.
Right.
But if you're the least bit fake or insincere, they can pick up on it in a heartbeat. And they don't say anything nasty to you. They just don't hang around you.
Right.
And we've all seen people come to Memphis and try to put the big britches on us, as it were. And Memphis figures them out and says, "Yeah, we ain't going that direction."
Right. I love that.
So,
right. Have you ever done morning radio before?
Yes, I did morning radio.
What was that experience like?
It's about 3 years after I got here, and one of the first people I met when I got to Memphis was you.
Oh, yeah?
You were on Thursday nights at TGI Fridays.
Right.
You sat at a little disc jockey stand out in the middle of the floor there
right.
by the phone booth, and you would spin records, and at midnight they'd drop all the confetti, and there would
Then that's when the fights would start. It was great.
Well, they started earlier, too, but they stopped
right,
just during the confetti drop.
Exactly.
So we hit it off immediately, and then I also hung out at Bombay Bicycle Club across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And your sales manager, Dennis DeMichael.
The Weasel.
Well, I didn't call him that, but apparently you do. I'd be in there holding court, telling stories and making people laugh. And he said, "You're really pretty funny." I said, "Yes, that is true." And he said, we're looking for somebody because McKeever had just left.
That's
your
right.
Partner for many years. And so went to the big guy, went to Folks Folly, and had dinner to talk about it. And Dennis DeMichael went to the bathroom, I thought, and then he didn't come back. And so I asked the big boss, the general manager,
Don Myers.
I said, where did Dennis go? He goes, "Dennis was allowed to be overserved, and he's taking it to the house." I said, "Okay." So anyway, we worked out a deal, and it was really interesting because whenever you hear about these big, huge deals, everybody works out financially.
Right.
There are all these things that are contingent on other things, but what it came down to is I was going to be the highest paid morning person, and in Memphis, of course, they didn't say if he meets all of his goals and aspirations. Right. And then they said, "How do you want to be called, Olson and Farrell or Farrell and Olson?" I said, "Olson and Farrell." Mm-hmm. I mean, he was there first, and he's the lead. And you taught me so much about broadcasting and radio. Like, he taught me that if a woman calls up and says she wants to bring you some food, don't take it. He said, they may sound like they're really nice.
It's called listener food.
Yeah,
and you never know where their hands have been, and
if they really like you, or
right.
they're trying to poison you.
That's right. So you don't do that. All right, crazy question for you. Let me sit back. I mean, literally, I pulled up all these questions today, and asking the question. But if you could
Did you use artificial intelligence for these questions?
I am artificial intelligence. That is me.
I often wonder.
But if you could go back, I love this question, and tell your younger self, give your younger self some advice about life or whatever. What would you tell the young Earle Farrell, that guy running the camera, the guy throwing up the cheerleaders in Texas there?
You're gonna have to explain that.
Okay. Well, he didn't throw up on the cheerleaders. He was where were you?
I was at Texas Tech. This girl asked me if I could pick her up, and I said, "What do you mean?"
Some of you might want to turn away.
Because she wanted to try out for cheerleaders.
Right.
She'd been a cheerleader there in Lubbock and Monterey High School.
Right.
But the cheerleaders at Tech, it's co-ed, so she had to have a guy to try out with. And I was standing at a bus stop, and I guess I looked fairly healthy. And she said, "Do you think you could pick me up?" I said, "Like what?"
Yeah.
"And do what?" She said, "I want to try out for cheerleader." And I said, "Yeah, I probably could do that." And she said, "I'll teach you the routine." And we've got about a week to get ready. And
That's quite a come-on she had. I love that.
A gutsy woman, I will
Yes,
say that.
very aggressive. I love it.
So she taught me the routine, and so we tried out in front of the whole school. And at the end of the routine, it was called the wraparound, where I'd kind of squat down, she'd step here, then on my shoulders, stand up on my shoulders.
By the minute.
And then she'd drop down, I'd catch her arms,
Right.
I'd wrap around my back, and then I'd set her on the ground in front of me.
Yes.
And we did that.
Right.
And so since I really wasn't trying out, I thought it would be kind of cool and this is back in the day, okay? So I thought it'd be kind of nice or interesting if I kind of slapped her on the rear at the end of our routine and clapped because she was running. And so everybody cheered, went wild. I get back to my dorm with this big sign that says, "Congratulations, Earl. You've been elected a cheerleader." I go, "I only know one trick," and that was it.
That's funny.
But I enjoyed it, but it wasn't for me. I was...
So I remember when they hired you at the station, we said, "We've hired you a male cheerleader." And I said, "That's awesome. Bring him in." Then. What advice would you give yourself? I mean,
if I were to go back, I would tell myself not to marry my first wife. That would have been some great advice.
That's another story, but I've heard it, and I know I understand it completely.
She was a wonderful person. It's just, I was 21. Who should get married at 21?
Nobody.
Right. In fact, my son didn't get married until he was, 34?
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, and I advised him on that.
Right.
I said, now's the time.
That's it. So that's good. So you tell yourself just to hang out a little bit longer.
I was said to hang out a lot longer, and I did. After I got the divorce, that's how I came to Memphis.
Right.
I didn't know anybody here, and I just said I want to get out of Dallas because I knew everybody there, and everybody's going, "Well, where's your wife?"
Wow.
And I go, "Well, we're not together."
That's funny.
So that ended that question. I came here, and nobody asked me where she was.
That's great. So you've enjoyed your stay.
Yeah, it's almost been 50 years.
Wow.
I moved here in '78, and it has been great. That was the other thing I didn't expect. Within the first year, I'd met just about everybody who was anybody in Memphis. Fred Smith, John and Pat Tigert, I lived below them, in the Tower Apartments downtown. Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins. I met Carl Perkins here at the Peabody, interviewed him here. But literally everybody, in fact, Jerry Lee, I mean, him and J.W. Witten at what used to be Alon's upstairs at the Clark Tower,
right.
but then turned into Cowboy. But back during the Dallas days. And I go in there with a date, and I say J.W., and he's sitting with Jerry Lee, and he says, "Hey, come on over." So we go over and introduces us to Jerry Lee, and we chat for a minute. Then we go sit at a table, and a minute later, this waitress brings us a bottle of champagne, a couple of glasses, and says, "Mr. Lewis wanted to buy y'all some champagne." I said, "Oh, well, thank you very much for us." So she pours it, and we take a sip, and then she comes back. She says, "Mr. Lewis says if you're not going to join him, he wants his champagne back." I said, "Take it away."
That's great. Did you ever meet Elvis at all? Did you ever have?
He died in August, and I got here in January.
Wow.
But immediately they at Channel 3, and they said, "Go out to Graceland. This is his birthday in January.
Right.
To see if anybody shows up." So went out to Graceland, and I went, "They're here."
Yes.
And they've been coming back ever since.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what about, have you got any grandchildren?
I have 2 grandchildren.
Who are they, and tell me about them.
Well, we've got Hudson, who is our little grandson.
And what's his nickname?
Hudson.
Okay, you just call him Hudson. I would call him Huddy.
Huddy?
You're right.
I call him, "Hey, you, get off of there." I say that a lot. What do you think you are, your parents' house?
And you have a granddaughter.
Ainsley, who is 1.5, and she's just beautiful.
Yep.
And he is, too. I mean, they're both just... But my daughter's beautiful, and my son-in-law's he's a firefighter, and Taylor works for the Chamber of Commerce in Collierville.
Yep.
Great parents. He's, and then whenever they want to go out or go someplace or do something, then we become, "Have a great stay." Thank you. Those folks from Scotland.
Yeah.
And so we get to babysit a lot, and he calls me Papa. That's what Olson and Baylor call you.
I think
Papa.
he stole it from.
I did.
I
said, "I'm not going to be no Gramps, and I ain't going to be. That could be Pops.
Pops.
I'm not a Pops.
Papa sounds good. I like
and then Kathy goes by Cece for.
Okay.
Why do we call you CC?
Because of the pizza
Kathy?
joint.
See, Kathy. CC. So you got a whole sentence there.
My wife is Vicky is Kiki.
Kiki. Not kinky.
No, Kiki.
Kiki. See, the interviewer comes out in me.
That's right.
They
That's
can't
right.
stop it.
But,
I have a son
forgot about
and
your
a
son.
daughter-in-law.
Yeah, they're great.
And he's a cowboy. And the first time we took him to Texas at the ranch and he saw the cowboys, he goes, "Daddy, I are a cowboy too."
Right.
I said, "Son, we all are, but we can't make a living at it."
Where it starts.
But he found a way to do it. He majored in animal science at Mississippi State, graduated, went to Wyoming, worked on a big cattle ranch for a year up there, and came back here and ran the riding stables at Shelby Farms for a couple of years.
That. Right.
And now he works for Panther Creek down outside Hernando. And he met this little girl that went to work for them. And I saw her at a rodeo, and I said, "Who is that?" And he said, "Oh, that's a girl named Sloan, but she's got a boyfriend, and she's really young." And I said, "Is she married?" He said, "No." I said, "Then she's still available." And a year later, they're married. So, so we were delighted to have her and her family. And she's
one of the things
girl.
About your family that I notice is that you guys are always together on Sunday. Tell us about the Sunday get-together.
That's the Sunday, every Sunday, everybody that can comes to our house.
Right.
And when they leave, everything's gone. The booze, the food, we got nothing. And so
that's pretty good. That's a difficult. I've thought about that a lot. I don't know if I could do that every Sunday. I mean, it's got to get old. But you got the Cowboys playing. You get to catch up with everybody,
Kathy's
and all the
parents come over.
All the kids are running around. Kathy's mom and dad are there. And
well, Sloan and JB, because they also do rodeos on the weekend, and she's a big barrel racer, and he does roping, and so. There's some weekends that they don't come on Sunday, but they'll come on like Monday night or something. But they're young people. They're very busy, and I'm sure coming over to hang out with Papa is not high on their list.
Right.
But
do you get down on the floor on your hands and knees and play with the kids?
No, actually, with my grandson, because he likes to play with his little cars and trucks.
Right.
And I'm older.
Right.
So getting down is okay, but getting back up again is. So what I have is a yardstick, and I stand up and I move my trucks around with a yardstick. Here comes Papa.
This is turning into a movie. I can see this already.
It works. So
I know. It's a great idea.
Because once you get down, you got to be able to get back up, and nobody else is as big as I am in my house. So
you are a big dude. He's a big dude. Can you tell him a story about the time you rescued me from the dock and fishing? And is that story probably not. For those of you that are here, I will tell you the story. No, I won't tell everybody that story. That's how you became like my best friend.
Well, I could tell it and not be graphic about it.
I don't know if you can or not.
Well, you got in there, Ron he's got a cabin on the Little Red River.
Right.
And we've really been best friends just ever since we first met, so we do a lot of stuff together.
Don't go into great detail.
I'm not going to ask you what were your first girlfriend kisses like. So, but we go down there, and he mowed the yard, and he hadn't eaten anything, and so we sat on the dock, and he had whatever that
heat
whiskey.
Exhaustion, basically.
And 2 big drinks.
Well, I had a couple of big drinks with it.
And so I was going to stay downstairs in this kind of the bunkhouse thing, and he and Vicky had bedrooms upstairs. And so I'd already had my stuff down there. My phone was on charge, everything. And so this friend of ours down there, John, we helped get Ron up to the cabin
because I was throwing up on the dock.
Yeah, threw up on the dock.
It's 6 o'clock at night. I was heat
exhaustion.
exhaustion.
It was an early night.
A couple
for
big
Ron.
tumbler drinks. I overdid it, and so Earl and John helped me back to the cabin.
And so he's pretty drunk. So they had this big whiskey barrel. It's a nightstand next to the bed.
Yes.
And so I said, let me unplug my phone, which was plugged into a lighting strip down on the floor by the bed. And so as I reached down to unplug my phone, Ron just robes, and I was like, hey. And so that was an early night for Ron. But
it was up close and personal.
Yeah,
it was. But you saved my life that afternoon.
Well, it's a good thing John was there, because after that I said, I want nothing to do with it.
It was bad. It was a bad story. But it was a night that bonded us forever.
It did.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
In some strange way.
All right, so what's your next adventure? What's you're having fun down at the Peabody doing this, and it looks great. People all over the country are watching this thing.
They love it, and we love coming here. We're getting ready. My main sponsor is Southern Security Federal Credit Union.
Right.
And they're building a new building in Collierville. It's like $25 million
It's
headquarters.
a spectacular building.
It's very nice. I was there yesterday. And they're building a studio inside this building for us there. And by Heidi. And we're going to be opening that up the 15th of October.
Oh,
we'll
wow.
still come here, but we'll also go there and do shows from there and interview people out in that part of the county.
Right.
And it'll be a lot more business related and entrepreneurs, young people getting into business.
Right.
Have my daughter with the chamber and their new head coming on. And so that's the next expansion of the show. But we couldn't do it without Rob and Beth, Beth and I worked together at Channel 3 when I first came here and met you.
Right.
She was a photographer there, and we had some death-defying excursions. Yeah. I said, Beth, are you afraid? She goes, not if you're not. And I went, well, I'm not, so let's go. And we covered a lot of great stuff. Then she moved to New York, went to work for CBS News there in New York, and met her husband, Rob, who's running the show here. There's Rob. Say hi.
Hey, Rob.
And we couldn't do this without him. I mean, it may not look like a lot of stuff. This is very sophisticated.
Trust me.
And it is as good as any video podcast I've seen. I mean, we're doing basically an hour TV show twice a week.
Right.
And it's and Kathy, who comes in and helps with the show, helps book the show and helps and tells me what to do.
Right.
She said, I'm not telling you what to do, but.
I know. That sounds like my wife, Vicki.
Yes. And Vicki and Kathy are very much alike.
Right.
And we often say that. And so.
And today, before I came down here, I'd taken a nap, and I got up, and so I went there, splashing water in my face, I brushed my teeth, and I started flossing. She goes, stop flossing around me.
Stop flossing around you?
It's grossing me out. Stop flossing. I'm like, you've been married a long time when you irritate your wife because you floss your teeth. I mean,
whatever happened to?
I don't know.
Oh, Ron, you're the most wonderful. You're so funny and charming. How did I get you? You don't hear that anymore?
No, those days are gone. I think probably bubbles underneath. I know it's probably still.
It's still there.
It is.
It just doesn't bubble up.
That's
very
right.
often.
That's right.
But when I met you, you were driving around a Corvette. You were not really dating anybody in particular, and then. And then you met Kat.
Those days. I'm so sad you brought it up. It was awesome.
And then you met Vicki.
I did.
And I remember you saying, I have met somebody I've fallen in love.
I was downtown at Erica's restaurant, right
Next
over
door
by
to
the rendezvous.
Upstairs.
Yep.
Yep.
And I used to go, I worked downtown at K97. She worked at Goldsmith's. And one day I looked up and saw her eating lunch across the room from us. And I told the people at the table, that is the girl I'm going to marry. That's a true story.
And you did.
I did.
And then I remember a couple of years later, she gets pregnant with Jessica Pearl. I went with you to go look at daycare places around the city.
Oh, boy. I remember that. Yeah.
Went to St. Peter's.
Yes.
And walked in there. Two guys walk into St. Peter's, which is also an orphanage.
Two guys walk into an orphanage. Sound like a joke.
Yeah. I'm not going to say about a little person being with us. So we were talking about a little person.
That's right. That's right.
And we went to a number of different places, but St. Peter's was not where she ended up going, was it?
Well, she was there for a while until can I tell this story?
Yeah.
So one day, Vicki worked downtown at Goldsmith's, and I was doing the morning show, so I'd be about noon. I could come home, and I'd keep Jessica for 6 or 7 hours every day. That got really old. So I thought, we got to find a place to put her. And so we came up with St. Peter's Orphanage. So I put her in St. Peter's Orphanage, and then I picked her up at 2 o'clock one afternoon, brought her home. And then Vicki calls from work and says, when are you going to go get Jessica? And I said, I've got her. She's here with me now. She's taking a nap. She goes, no, she's not. I just called St. Peter's, and they said she's doing just fine. She's sound asleep. And I said, what? Are you making stuff up? I said, that was the last day we stayed at St. Peter's.
So they didn't know you had picked her up.
Now, I don't know what was going on, but you don't tell the mom on the phone that she's doing just fine. She's sound asleep. I said, that was how we severed our relationship.
That was the end of that.
We got to find we had to come up with a new plan after that, so it worked.
And what is with your two grandsons,
Yes.
what is the biggest challenge there? I mean, because they're not exactly docile.
No, they're not. They're very active. It's the fun thing about it is just watching them grow, and there's two distinct personalities, and right now they're having fun with all the sports, t-ball,
Can't believe
flag football and all. That's really fun
little
to watch.
Olson saw him running for a touchdown. He
Yeah.
was like down at the other end
Right,
zone.
right.
Goes right through all the other players. This is flag football. And runs through them all and outruns all of them all the way for a touchdown.
I'm not kidding about this. He got a note from Steve Sarkisian from Texas the other day and said...
Sounds like a Ron Olson story to me.
He said, I know you're only in the first grade, but don't forget about the Longhorns in the future. And so I might be moving.
Well, I would certainly be for all that.
If he gets that, we're moving to Austin.
There you go.
Where it all began for you.
There it is. There it is. Well, looking at the clock on the wall.
I'm supposed to say that. Hey, looking at the clock on the wall, we got to get out of here, folks. It's been fun. Earl, thanks for coming down and being on the show today.
Well, I
Appreciate it.
hope to do it again soon.
Right. You look snazzy in your blue jacket,
Well, you
too.
look good in your. That's an Elvis wedding jacket.
I know.
isn't it?
I'm going to buy this.
Open the lapels up and show. All those are pictures of Elvis and Priscilla and the Jeeker.
I'm going to a big family wedding in California in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to buy this and take it with me. So
Well, you look great.
I'm going to put on a show when I walk in over there.
You will, especially when you open it up and show them what's inside.
I know, it's amazing.
Because nobody makes coats like Lansky's does. And so you will be the hit of the place.
Thanks for coming in. Don't forget, we can get your parking free before you leave.
Yeah, do I get it validated or what?
Yes, I'll validate it myself.
Okay. And can I
thanks.
keep this jacket?
You can have whatever you want. Take 2 or 3 of them. I don't care. Take the leopard one. Take it. Now get out of here.
Thank you. All right. That's it for us. I'm going to say this. We'll see you next time.